Meet Liz Patel. At 12 years old, Liz started making her own skincare.
I've made skin stuff since I was about 12 years old.
Now, her products replace 12-step routines.
A lot of it is about helping people with skincare issues who want something better.
But if the product's that good, why haven't you heard of it?
The little ads and stuff from Facebook, I get clicks, but I don't get conversions like into my funnel or into my website.
I'm Talyn Rahman-Figueroa, your personal brand expert.
Make the damn sale. Ask people for your money.
And on today's episode of the Fairy BOSSmother show, I'm helping Liz stop blending in and finally take the spotlight she deserves.
I'm not going to give you the answer on how to fix that, but I will share with you how I can help my clients build a really powerful personal brand so that you are positioned, focused, and really clear what your solution is with your products, Liz.
Let's meet Liz Patel. Now, before we meet Liz, I usually ask my guests some basic questions to see how they talk about their business. Let's see what Liz has to say. When I asked Liz, what's your business all about and who do you serve? She said, Alaglow Skincare is a holistic, ethical, and eco-friendly skincare that is badass and super effective. My ideal people are those that value our planet and treatment of others. Okay, there's a few things going on over here. So first of all, she used the word holistic, which is such a fluffy word. It's very hard for people to actually explain, let alone understand what holistic is. She also mentioned that her product is ethical and eco-friendly. So I want to get a little bit more skin deep to see exactly what that means for her and how she's able to interpret that not only in her skincare, but also in her products, and whether that might be scaring people off if they don't really understand what that means. She also mentioned the word badass and effective. Okay, I got to see proof of what this is. How is she using those vibes in her brand, if at all? Okay, when I asked her, what are your main goals for your business right now? Liz said to reach more people authentically. Of course, that's one of the biggest goals that a lot of small business owners have. I'm curious to see how she's currently marketing and whether those marketing efforts are actually consistent or just all over the place and really done on a whim, because that is the trap that a lot of small business owners fall into. And if there's a lack of consistency, there's going to be a lack of sales and momentum. All right, Liz, we'll check you out on that one. When I asked her, what's the biggest challenge you're currently facing in reaching those goals? Liz has said, I'm not a natural at copywriting, and so I struggle with content, both on social media and doing ads, etc. Bingo, nailed it. Oh my goodness, I haven't even met Liz, and she talked about how she's been struggling with content, which is what my hunch was from the beginning. Your content has nothing to do with how well you write. It's all about execution. What do you want your content to be about? What is the message you want to leave? How do you want your content to be remembered? And your content should not be a sales piece. This is not an ad. However, if it is an ad, you need one really good piece of content that you can reuse over and over again. So if she's able to nail that, then this will no longer be a challenge for her. Last but not least, I asked Liz, have you done any work on building your personal brand? Liz said, I've been doing this for about 2 years and I'm still learning. For brand awareness, I utilize social media, both Facebook and Instagram, some TikTok, and I also do local markets in my area. So it sounds to me that Liz does not really have an engaged marketing strategy behind her brand because she's still experimenting. She's still doing the trial and error. And as a result, things are not going to stick. You have to stick with one thing for a while for it to do anything for you, at least for 6 months. Keep trying, keep tweaking that strategy over a 6-month period on one platform only. If she was to focus on one platform and just sprinkle content everywhere else, then she's going to see what's actually working for her in reality and what I call ghost marketing, where nothing is sticking. All right, without further ado, let's meet Liz Patel.
What's up, Liz? So great to have you on the show today.
Thank you. It's so nice to meet you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to see what Alaglow is all about. But before we start, as usual, I want to ask you, Liz, would you like the full on Fairy Boss Mother? So that's no filter, completely the truth from my mouth, or would you like a slightly softer touch to your review?
I would prefer just all out honesty.
Okay, okay, you want the full on Fairy Boss Mother. Let's go. Liz, I would love to know, what is Alaglow all about?
For me, a lot of it is about helping people with skincare issues who want something better. All of my stuff is so focused on like the holistic element of it. And so it's focused on your skin as your largest organ. I source all of the ingredients ethically. Anything that comes in from another country is fair trade. And then we also give back. And then one of my next things that I want to do is, as we get a little bit bigger, is to provide circular economy where people can send their empties back to me for a refill, or just send them back to me in a way that allows me to be able to reuse them instead of this constant like need for more, and kind of moving into a different flavor of it's not really even capitalism because it doesn't follow the capitalistic view, but it's basically kind of, I would say, kind capitalism, where it's about, I want to do something that really helps people with their skin, but I want to do it as ethically and as honestly as possible. I don't want to lie. I don't want to lean on greenwashing. I want to say what I mean and mean what I say.
Okay, all right. It sounds like you are tackling a very big, big topic here. You're one woman, Liz. How did this all get started for you?
I've made skin stuff since I was about 12 years old. I
Mm,
just throughout my life have always just enjoyed doing that. When I hit my early 40s, I was working at a Montessori school, and people were like, literally, like, what the heck are you using on your skin?
mm,
And I was like, I make it. And they're like, will you make me some?
yeah.
And and so that's kind of how it started, where they were using it and they were just like, oh my God, this is amazing. You need to sell this shit. So I was
Oh,
like,
awesome.
okay, let's try it.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you got a lot of different types of products. So why did you create the products that you created in your business? I'd love to learn more about that.
Okay, so my stuff that is based on the skin, the facial skin specifically, is like two products that are supposed to replace like 10 of what somebody would have on their countertop.
Hmm.
And for the reasons of like, it can take the place of a chemical peel, it can take the place of a face wash, it can take the place of your moisturizer. And so it's like taking all of these things that somebody would normally buy. I think the average over 4 months for an average female spends over $400 on skincare. And so then you take all of that away to give something that is super, super effective, that it does double duty. So the everything oil, it's a cleanser and a moisturizer.
Mm,
And so it really helps. Less is more, right?
yeah.
But it's doing it in a holistic way. So then, even though my products are not like in the lower echelon of price points, if you're spending $120 on my products, that they will last you 4 months,
Yeah.
then you don't have as much outgo, and you're doing something that's far more healthy for your skin.
You mentioned the word holistic, and that seems to be a very trendy word that's coming out of your mouth, Liz. What exactly does that mean, holistic, for you?
Holistic for me means that you're not specifically solving one problem.
Okay.
So for my products, holistic means that it supports the skin as your largest organ. So that's like one of the underlying elements of the formulas that I have created, so that it's like the oils are a good combination of something that's going to help your skin get rid of the stuff that it wants to get rid of, but enough nourishment that it's actually helping it be glowy and healthy and fabulous.
Yeah. Yeah. How does a little girl at the age of 12 get into creating these kind of skincare products? I want to be the fly on the wall for that. That sounds so cool.
One, I grew up in a very interesting household that wasn't very positive.
Mm,
And so, like, for me to go out and buy something was not necessarily a possibility. So I had to like pull together things that I could find. And so I tended to scour rummage sales during the summer times
yeah.
and you would always find at least two rummage sales where somebody who had been part of like a multi-level marketing scheme, like
Mhm.
Avon or Mary Kay or something like that, would just have a slew of stuff that they were never able to sell.
Yeah.
So then I would buy some of that stuff and then I would remix it, whether it was makeup or skincare stuff. And then kind of blending my own oils came later in my teenage years, after I had my own job and could spend money on stuff.
Yeah.
And then I would just go to like a health food store. I grew up in Bismarck, North Dakota. And
Hmm.
so there wasn't a lot of options. And this is back in the, late 80s, early 90s. And so we didn't have the internet, we didn't have Amazon, we didn't have any of those things where you could just go find stuff super easily. So there was only one health food store in Bismarck. Otherwise, I would drive to Fargo or I would drive to Minneapolis
Yeah.
and when I was there, would pick up stuff and formulate stuff with my older sister because she was into skincare as well. And we would just have fun with it.
Yeah. Wow, that's such an interesting story. I love that. I'm going to be so curious to see whether you talk about those kind of personal experiences into why you started skincare to begin with. And because you started your business wanting to create holistic skincare, something that does many different things, right? You're replacing potentially 4 or 5 products with just 1 or 2 of yours. And that
Yeah.
also means you're minimizing waste, you're reducing the budget a little bit more, you're helping women be a little bit more time effective with their skincare morning and night. I mean, busy parents, who has time to do, a 10-step routine, right? And then
Right.
on top of
And
that,
it also allows you to do more self-care. So if
mhm,
you've ever like had a 10-step routine, there's that element of like you put something on and then you're like, come on, dry because I need to get
yeah,
the next thing on and then I need to get the next thing on. But when you only have two things that you only have to rub in once, you can massage your face for 2 minutes.
yeah.
You can give yourself a little treat every single day of just like focusing on just caring for yourself instead of being like busy and anxious.
Yeah, it's habit stacking, baby. Just do 2 things in one, 2 things in
Right.
one. Yeah. Okay. I love the fact that your circle wanted skin just like you, because you do have beautiful skin, Liz.
Thank you.
May I ask how old you are?
I'm 50.
Oh my goodness. You got to come closer to the camera. Seriously, we want to see the skin of yours. So this is what Liz's product does to a 50-year-old skin. Look at that. I would have never thought you were 50. Just saying.
Thank
So
you.
if this is proof, I want to see more of that. I'm curious to see what other people or the internet says about you specifically, Liz. Have you Googled yourself before?
I have, and not myself because my name is specifically not out there, but my brand name is. But I've
Okay.
also rebranded twice.
Okay,
So
what was that?
mid-year last year, I went from Liz K to Alaglow.
Okay.
I wanted to take my name out of it.
Yeah, yeah. Why did you feel like that was a big thing for you in your business?
Two things. One of them was I was really struggling with feeling comfortable having the brand be my name
Mm,
and then having other people be able to talk about it. Because
hmm.
we eventually want to grow the brand where I'm not just the face of the brand, where
Yeah.
there's, maybe 5 people who are the face of the brand. So I wanted to just get my name out of it.
Hmm.
And there was another kind of like internal element to that of like it felt heavy and I needed it to not feel heavy and taking specifically my name out of it made it feel less heavy and it allowed me to kind of play with it more and have more fun because it was less of a direct relation to myself and
Did
it
you feel
being a
like there was a lot of pressure by having your name on your business?
I think this goes back to like that element of baggage,
Mm,
processing stuff. I came from a very, very judgmental upbringing.
mm,
Everything was labeled and typically labeled unkindly. So it wasn't like, oh, hey, that was an irresponsible thing to do. It was, oh my God, you're so effing irresponsible. When are you going to learn? And instead of turning things into a teaching moment, it was always a punishable moment. And so I've struggled with that within my business and have found kind of ways to alleviate that for myself by shifting.
yeah. But do you feel like with skincare, just in general, there is a lot of that, right? There is a lot of bashing of you using the wrong product, or this product has a lot of synthetic compounds and chemicals that are actually bad for your skin. And then you're going out there to tell people, well, actually, this product is better. I did make this myself. This is why. How do you balance that in your business, just in the very nature of your industry?
Well, as far as being able to tell somebody, I will relate this to something that happened recently. I see myself more as an educator. Like I can give you all of the information, but I don't want to approach my business from the standpoint of like a hard salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
So this was at a market and I'm talking to somebody and she's like, "Well, aren't you going to tell me to buy it? Aren't you going to do this and do this?" And I'm like, "Whoa, no, I'm not going to tell you this. I'm going to educate you on why this works,
Mm,
I'm going to tell you that, maybe some elements of greenwashing or what's going on with like the industry and things like that and how they twist their words to make you feel like you're buying something that's clean,
mhm.
but it isn't really clean. And at that point, it's up to you to make that decision.
Do you know, I just looking at you, Liz, and the way you're presenting yourself and the way you're talking, I can see you being a really positive ambassador just for skincare in general, especially for women in your age group, because this is, I mean, from 40 onwards, this is usually where women start to really take care of their skin. And maybe a lot of us are 10 years too late, thinking, oh my goodness, I should have started this when I was in my 20s. And now I'm thinking about it because I'm nearly 40. And then by the time you're 50, you're like, wow, I'm really too late for this. But you are living proof that you're never too late to take care of yourself.
Never too late.
Never too late to take care of yourself. Never too late to change your routine and your habits. Because you just talked about how my products can eliminate all of these other junk. And you want to eventually be able to be in a position where people can actually reuse some of the packaging that you have sent out to them, which is absolutely amazing. So it's like, how do we get there? So I want you to picture something with me because this is what I'm seeing when you're talking to me, okay? So I'm going to show you what's in my head. I can see you, and this is really bold. You say you don't like being labeled, but it's kind of like reverse labeling. And this is something that could go viral, Liz. You're in the middle of a street, let's say New York City, because everyone is crazy in New York. Sorry, guys. And you have a sign that says, guess how old I am. And you're basically inviting people to look at you, judge you, and give them your feedback. And the purpose of this is, Liz, they're looking at you. And the first thing they're going to look at is what's in your face. They're not going to look at anything else. It's mainly your face. This could be a really great way to say, hey, they could maybe guess, oh no, maybe you're 45, maybe you're this, maybe you're that. And if they guess lower than your actual age, or if they do guess that you're around about 50, ask them, why did you guess that? And this is really good market research for you, because number one, there's going to be a lot of preconceived notion about why they thought you were that age. And two, if they do say, oh my God, I can't believe you're 50, the way I reacted, this is a really great way to say, my skincare routine has done this for me. And this is a really good plug for Alaglow. The fact that you are the founder of this business and promoting your business. You need to be the face of your business, Liz. You do. You do.
Yeah.
There's no hiding it. You can have 5 or 6 other people representing your business, but the brains of the business is you, and no one can forget that.
Yeah. And it's not that I don't agree with that. It's just that in changing the name, it shifted the paradigm for me and made it
Mhm.
easier for me to show up.
Yeah. But now it's Alaglow by Liz Patel,
Hmm.
right? It's slightly different. I think that's great that you feel more confident with this new name change, but you still gotta own it. This is still your
Oh,
business,
yeah.
right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, can you see yourself doing a challenge like that?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it'll be great for you to do that. Okay. That's the first thing that came to my head when I was watching you talk about your business. So, what do you feel are the current struggles that you're experiencing now with your business?
I think for me, it's conversions online. I do markets, and that's kind of what makes
Mm.
my most money right now, but I would really like the online piece of it to be a lot more robust. And I have never really struggled with getting clicks, like the little ads and stuff from Facebook. I get clicks, but I
Mm.
don't get conversions like into my funnel or into my website. And I've even a few years back, I hired a storybook professional. I don't know if you're familiar with the person who writes those. I'm trying to think about what the name of the guy is, but I'm terrible with names right now. So it's called story branding.
Hmm.
And we spent $5,000 on him to write basically my homepage
Okay.
and then like aligning it with story branding. And then he also wrote an email sequence for me, and all of that was $5,000. And none of it worked. Like it created zero conversions.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that some of my issue is messaging,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not my strong point as
Right.
far as being able to sit down and write stuff down. I think it falls into that category. Like I can do it for other people, but when I sit down to do it for myself, I really, really struggle.
All right. Let's do a really quick exercise then, Liz. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to give me a one sentence, like whatever comes on the top of your head. All right. You
Okay.
ready? You ready? Okay. Why did you start your business?
Because I wanted to help people.
Why do you want to help people?
Because I think what's on the market is shit,
What's shit about them?
loaded with chemicals that don't align with our body.
Why are those
That
chemicals bad for you?
Because they don't support your system. They don't
What?
support your skin as your largest organ. They don't seek to holistically approach your body. They're just trying to solve a singular problem.
What is the problem?
For a lot of women, it might be they don't like their wrinkles, they don't, or for people with acne, they have acne, and instead of, especially with like the kinds of things where you're going to use drying products don't like help your skin. They actually can exacerbate problems over time. And so
Okay.
the oils actually like help your
Faster,
skin.
Liz, faster. Go faster. Liz, what was your skin problem?
My skin problem was that if I did get a blemish, they were like the really underneath the skin kind that would take like 4 years to go away.
What is your skin problem now?
I don't have any skin problems now.
Bingo, there it is. There it is. You used to have skin problem. It was this really annoying thing. I don't have skin problems anymore. I'm 50 years old, right? What we want to see is what does your product do? What is the result? What does the problem do? What is the result? That is how quick your messaging has to be. I don't want to hear you talk about holistic anymore because no one knows what that is. And when you were trying to explain the holistic skin routine, and the skin is the biggest organ, that's where people snore and fall off their chair because they're asleep. We do not want to bore people with your products, Liz. Your product is doing something really, really amazing. I don't know what that is right now. That's what you need to fix in your messaging,
Okay.
right? So it needs to be something that's quick to the point. You're able to explain it in like one breath without having to over explain things. And I want to directly know what is the problem and why is your product the solution, not a solution, the solution. So why is your product the solution, Liz?
Because it optimizes your skin.
Okay, make it more simple.
See, that's where I struggle. Like,
Yeah.
how do I say everything in a way that makes it super succinct and ultimately it heals your skin
What is it
from,
healing from though? So every time when you're coming up with content, Liz, go deeper and ask yourself, but why? but why, but why, and simplify the message like you're talking to a fifth grader. Because by
Okay.
using words like holistic, it optimizes, it's like, who are you talking to, right? So you got to think about your audience. Think of your audience as someone who is time poor. They want a solution now. Well, they want a solution yesterday, and they have this massive problem, and they want to find a really quick solution. Like everything is fast right now in our society. Your messaging needs to hit hard, really, really hard, because you know that your products work.
Yeah. So then I would say like the Defy version reduces fine lines, it gets rid of crepiness, and it starts to build up the underlayer of your skin by utilizing collagen that your body already produces.
All right. Well, if I was to be completely unfiltered here, I would even go as far as saying you don't want to be looking like an old lady, because everyone has a misconception of what an old lady looks like, right? Some kids as young as 18 will probably think old is when they're 30, not when they're 60 or 70. What you're doing is creating a very clear picture of what people assume old to look like. And you're saying you don't have to look like this. You can look like this instead. There's 50-year-old celebrities who look like they're 30s. And that's because I mean they have the money and they have the team of people to like help them with their skin. Now imagine you can look like this without spending so much money and so much time and having an army of skincare professionals helping you. This product will be enough. So you kind of like, if you make a comparison in a way that people understand, this is how you can break people's misconceptions of what it is to be old, or you know, when they become old,
Yeah.
the preconception of what that is. So rather than overcomplicating and talking about how, well, this is how wrinkles are formed and this is the reason why your skin's like this, show them a picture. This is what people think old is. Actually, it's not old. It's all about how you take care of your skin and your routine. There's two things that can fix you from looking like this to looking like this. Boom. There's Alaglow's products. That simple. Can you do it, Liz?
Oh yeah.
You can do it.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. I believe in you. All right. You know what? I'm super curious about your website. We talked about like what your website could be looking like. So let me see. Let's see. Right. We are in the alaglow.com website. Okay. So I love the fact that you have an image of someone who's older. So not someone who's my age, but then, all right. So Powerhouse Botanicals, no fillers. You're talking about how Alaglow is high quality, is ethical, small batch, big impact. What I'm not seeing right now, Liz, is what problem do you solve? Like one big problem. That needs to be the first thing I need to see. Because right now, your words are very conceptual, small but mighty. Okay. But I don't know what you're talking about. Powerhouse Botanicals, no fillers. Great. But again, this is very fluffy. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I know it's ingredients related. Right now, I don't care about the ingredients. I care about the results. And I think your images could be a little bit more high res as well, because it seems really pixelated. So when you blow it up, I don't think it works. I think what I would love to see is an action picture of, say, this woman, if this woman, or just how what she's doing, but your product specific, because I know these are not your images. These are stock images.
Yeah, they are.
I would love an image of you, Liz, in your homepage of you using your products. Or it could be just a kind of like maybe something like this where you're framing an image of you just kind of like framing your face. And then there could be graphic images of all of your products, kind of like a halo, because I know you have several pictures. And that could be the homepage of, if you want younger looking skin, by the time you hit this age, this is hit the products button, because I think show and tell is really important in the skincare industry.
Yeah, I agree with that. And as with all things, it's a learning process. And then, getting people to help videotape and stuff like that.
Yeah. Let's keep digging a little bit more. All right. How many products do you have, Liz?
I don't have a ton of products. I think I have 12.
Okay.
But like with my everything oils, there's 3 varieties. There's Defy, there's Calm, and there's Teen Dream.
Does that have anything to do with the aromatherapy qualities or?
No, it's not aromatherapy. Defy is age defying. It's meant to help with rebuilding the layers of your dermis. And then Calm is for people who have like highly reactive skin. And then Teen Dream is for instead of like using salicylic acid and stuff like that, Teen Dream is meant to help balance the skin when they're young so they don't end up with problems later.
It sounds like you've got three different audiences right now with three very specific problems. I would completely like instead of categorizing it like this, face, body, gifts, how to use, I would go straight for the age group. So teens, over 40s, and what was the third one?
It would be people with reactive skin, so sensitive
Sensitive.
slash.
Because in that way, you can show them all of your products that is right for their skin type. And that on its own could act like a landing page. So when you go to, I guess, redo some of your website or the copy, you're talking basically eye to that specific individual. I know that you have highly sensitive skin because when you use a product, this happens. When you use a serum, this happens. When you use a face wash, this happens. So basically, by talking like this, Liz, you're positioning yourself as the expert of skin. You're basically, my formula is the salt in the wound formula. What this means is you are pinpointing exactly what the problem is. Then you're throwing salt on it, making it hurt a little bit more because this is a really big problem for them. You want them to really feel that pain. Now, the reason why your skin is sensitive is because X, Y, and Z. How does that affect you on a day-to-day basis? Get them to answer that question for you. Does it make you feel like this? Are you afraid to do this? Really lean on the emotions, because what your products does, Liz, is eliminate those emotions. Instead of feeling nervous to go out or try something new or scared because your skin's going to react, that you formulated your product in a way that appeases all of those anxieties.
Yeah, makes sense.
Trial product.
Cool.
Just letting it sink in. Because when you're reframing the problem, you're making it very clear that you understand your audience. You know the problem that they've gone through, and your product is the solution. So it's not about the product anymore, Liz. It's about them. And then it's about you. It's your relationship with that person. And the thing that's bringing you closer together now is through your products. Yeah? Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And then this is a really great way for you to also deepen your relationship through your email marketing, because you do want to sell to people. Your call to action should also always be, okay, I hear your problem. The solution is looking right at you. All you have to do is click buy. So don't be scared to ask for the sale. And if money is an issue for them, give them a smaller version of it. I know you have like smaller trial versions, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got minis.
Offer them the mini first. Always offer the smallest version first to them. Try it. Come back to me. Give me feedback. Give me a video review. Then I will upgrade you to a smaller version. I'll give you 10% off by giving me a video review, because you want user-generated content. You want other people to talk about your amazing product, because you don't want this to be the list show, because you already said you don't want to be the face of your business. Yeah.
Okay.
What's going through your head right now?
Just like, so I process information fairly like swiftly. So I'm just sort of like putting like all the to-do list stuff in my head of what I need to change to move that needle forward.
Mm-hmm. Don't be scared to ask for that sale, because you need that sale to be able to move your business to the next level. And what is the next level for you, Liz?
Well, right now my level's not really high. So like I would really like to be in the realm of like 25 sales a day would be great.
Okay. And on average, how much does your product cost?
The full size duo is 120.
Okay.
And then everything else is lower than that. So like my body butters are 45, my lip rescue is 15. I have a green clay and green tea mask that's 30, I think it's 30 or no. It recently changed. It might be 15 or 17. And then I've got makeup remover balm that is 33.
Okay, and how much are your trial sizes?
The trial sizes are, I think it's 23.
Okay. Is that for every single product that you have?
No, I don't have trial sizes for every single product, but I have samples.
Okay, because what would be really great now that we've identified three target audiences specifically for your brand, it would be really amazing to have trial versions for each of those target audiences. So it's almost like it's not a sample because you want to be able to put a price on your product. But having mini versions, something that they could buy once, and it's a 10-day trial. And
It's
then
two
after,
weeks worth.
sorry?
It's 2 weeks worth.
2 weeks worth? Okay. Okay. So it's a 2 week trial. And then after that 2 week, they get upgraded to the full size version. If we can provide a mini version for all three of your audiences, that would be the call to action for every single one of your marketing going forward. You're not selling them a big version. You're only selling the trial. And if you're charging them, I don't know, let's say $35 for each trial, and if we were to have 25 people buy that per day, that you're looking at $875 per day. Now, if our goal was to make $500 per day, you're looking at 14 customers a day. And that's not a lot to achieve because you are in a really saturated market, which is a good thing, Liz, because your products, you know that the skincare industry is never going to die off because there's always going to be a demand for it. The job now is to show them why you are the better choice than what's all the crap that's out there in the world. Yeah. So what kind of marketing are you currently doing right now outside of what you've tried?
I have done a lot of PR pitches to writers. And then I also have been recently started Facebook ads.
Okay. I think if you repositioned yourself a little bit where you are very, very intentional on who your target audience is and your page only talks to them directly, you'll have a better rate of conversion. Because right now you are talking to everyone. And when you're talking to everyone, what happens?
Oh, yeah, it dilutes it definitely. And I think like most of my targeting right now is kind of in the like eco-friendly area. Eco-ethical is kind of where I've targeted it historically and not specifically like skincare, yes, but like eco skincare, not necessarily problem based.
Yeah, I think so with the skincare industry, yes, you have synthetic skincare, which may be effective, but ultimately is not good for your skin. And then we have products like yours that are on the eco-friendly side, but a lot of people are not Googling eco-friendly, right? They want to fix a very specific problem. But eco-friendly is one of the added benefits, like clean, non-toxic, eco-friendly, eventually reusable products. These are going to be added benefits to the reason why they say yes to you. It's not the reason why they say yes to you.
Right. I get that.
Yeah. So you're layering up all of the amazing reasons why they should be supporting your product and your small businesses over like the big skincare companies that belong in CVS and Walgreens and Walmart, because that's who you're competing with right now.
Yeah.
So you got to give people a reason why they need to pay attention to you. And now this is where content is important. So I want to see what you do with Instagram. Now, before I have a look, are you nervous at me looking at your Instagram? How are you feeling with that?
No, I'm feeling good. I'm
Okay.
feeling good.
Right, let's hop over to Instagram. All right, here we go. So we are at Alaglow Skincare. And the first thing you say is skincare that gives a shit about you. I love that. I love how bold you are. But I think we need to go slightly deeper, specifically for who is this for, right? You are talking to the people who are worried about aging. Because everyone's going to be aging, right? So there's a big camp of people in that boat already. You're talking about the people who are sick to death of having sensitive skin because clearly they're using the wrong products for their skin and they just don't know how to fix that. And then there's camp number 3 that I keep forgetting about. So you have those 3 camps of people.
Teenagers.
Sorry, teenagers. I don't think about you a lot. So and then there's teenagers, and teenagers have their own set of problems because of just their age. So you're dealing with 3 different age groups. I think you can break this down further, right? You've got teenagers. So let's say the age is between, 11 till 20. That could be the teen camp. And then you have the mid-range group who's between 20 to 30, maybe 40, who could potentially have a lot of sensitivities. If the 20 to 40-year-olds, Liz, do not have sensitive issues, ignore them. Okay? I don't want you thinking about them. And then you have the 40 plus who are going to be like, oh my God, pro feed. Oh my God, blinds. Oh my God, what the hell is this? I never had this before. And they're going to relate it back to their age because they never had this problem before. Those are the three camps when it comes to your content and your product. You have over 8,000 followers. What's happening behind the scenes? Are you getting DMs, messagings? Like, what's going on?
Not a lot, honestly. And I think part of it is that I got those followers kind of previously, and then a lot of it, because at one point I was over 10,000. And then kind of the COVID thing happened, and I ended up like everything went on the back burner because my daughter came home, and it was on the back burner for about 2.5 years. And
Okay.
it's really been in the last 2 years that I've really started working my business again.
Okay. So your Instagram needs a little bit more love, huh? It needs some TLC.
Well, I mean, it's been getting a lot of TLC in the last like year and a half.
Okay. And then how often do you post on Instagram?
Pretty daily.
Okay. Well, I can see. So just looking at your views, you seem to be averaging a view of around about 150, I would say, which is slightly on the low side. You would definitely want to get more than 200, which means that you're getting enough reach. So when you are coming up with ideas for your reels, who are you talking to in these reels?
That's a good question. So when I was doing, because I've recently outsourced most of my social media, like I'm doing the videos still, and then I give them to someone else, and then she processes them.
Okay.
And when I was doing it myself, I was getting less views.
Okay.
So since turning it over to her, she's getting, because most of my stuff previous to her it was all less than 100. It was
Mhm.
all like in the 15 to 40
Okay.
range.
Yeah.
And so but that's a good question to start talking to her about. Like, who is it for?
Yeah. Well, I think right now we know who it should be for. We've just defined who your target audience is. Now it's all about framing your content so that you are first talking about the problem and then talking about the ask. The ask is, so there's a few things that you could be asking for on Instagram. Follow, because you said that you've lost a few followers if you had 10K over the last few years. So follow. And then that's a lot of followers you have. You could be re-engaging them. When was the last time you talked to anyone on your followers list?
Different people almost daily. But, with that many people, it's hard to speak to everyone all the time. And I haven't really, there's that element of learning how to optimize the list more easily.
I mean, it could be as simple as, hey, I noticed that you've been following me for a while. Thank you. Leave it there. And then if they do respond, then you've got a conversation going. If they don't respond, you can ask them, I would love to know what kind of just for my own research, I would love to know what kind of skincare products you're using, and go from there. Just that way you are asking them a question and you're being proactive about re-engaging your audience. And then you can figure out if they are your target audience or not. I mean, I think right now you can tell just by looking at people what camps of age group they fall into. If you do happen to have people under 20, maybe start with them first, because they tend to be on Instagram all the time and DMing like crazy. So they will be your hottest audience. Asking them, hey, I love, say something nice about them. I love your pictures on Instagram. I'm curious to know, what kind of skincare product do you use for your face? Do you experience sensitivity or acne issues? And see if they talk back to you, because this is a soft pitch for you. And then you could potentially say, if they have a really good number of people following them. So let's say nano influencers around about 5,000 people, micro influencers around about 10,000 people. You want to target people who have less than 10,000 followers. And you could potentially ask the people who are very responsive to you, check out their social media profile, Liz, and see how many likes and comments they are getting on their post. If there's a fair number of if there's 26 likes, 15 comments, and they're constantly talking to their friends on Instagram, that is a hot market for you. You can tell them, hey, I would love to send you a trial version of one of my products in return for you to, number one, test it out for me. And number two, do a story and a review on Instagram. Are you up for it? So you are giving them something for free, but in return, you're getting user-generated content. You're getting them to tap into their audience, and you're getting kudos from someone who's actually in your target audience.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that idea.
So if you're already working with someone who's doing social media, that could potentially be their role. You don't have to do that. Get them to actively make sales for you. And that's the way to do that.
I will be talking to her later this week.
Hey, I went on the Fairy BOSSmother show. Watch the episode. You have to implement everything she has to say. Because you've got a really good number of people already just sitting there like ducks, not doing anything for you. Just let's use the audience that you have already, and you're bound to make some sales just on the people who are already following it. Re-engage them. And then I think you need some sort of content strategy where you're directly talking to just the people that you know will benefit from your products. Everyone else, Liz, ignore them. They're white noise to you. They don't exist for you anymore. You're going to tunnel vision this now. If you don't have skin problems, if you're not over 40, and if you don't have sensitive skin, I don't care about you. That's what you need to tell them.
Okay.
Yeah, that way your content is going to be a lot more sharper and you're going to be a lot more focused.
I like that.
All right. So with the feedback that I shared with you, what are the first things you're going to work on, Liz? I want to know your implementation strategy.
The first thing that I will do will do some pictures of myself using the product to put on my homepage and changing the text for both my homepage and the existing funnel that I have that is from an ad on Instagram, that instead of focusing on the full size, change it to the minis.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I think, and this is something that I have thought about, but you just kind of reiterated, or you've supported the idea that was in my head about breaking out the different types of the duos. So the Teen Dream, the Calm, and the Defy, and kind of more specifically really writing far more specific text in an ad for that one product so that it's more in line with everything.
Yeah. So remember, salt in the wound. Salt in the wound. That's what you want your copy to be like. What is the problem? Why do you have this problem? What is the solution? It's my product, and it's this specific product. So don't be afraid to ask for that sale. Ask for that sale. Even when you're when you're doing the markets as well, you have a formula to work with now. So when you're approaching people or when they come and say hi to you at the store, you have a formula that works both online and offline now, right? You're going to identify what the problem is, or they're going to share that problem with you. You're going to talk about, open. I'm this years old. I started when I was 12. I've been doing this a long time. You've tried everything, and the bullshit that's happening in the skincare industry, everything needs to be done in like one breath. So you're not over explaining your story, and then make the sale.
My wheels are turning. Yeah, I'll definitely work on, I think this is one of those things where I'll end up using ChatGPT to help me out a little bit, because I will put out normally what I say and then ask it to reduce it to 2 sentences.
Yeah, but it needs to be like a punch to the face, seriously.
Yeah, I get that.
It's I want to punch my clients in the face with my product. That's how hard hitting it needs to be. But then gently and softly tell them that they're going to be okay because I'm here for them.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we are now wrapping up with the Fairy BOSSmother show. Liz, if there was one thing that you took away from this show and everything that I shared with you, what would that be?
Clarity in message, and a more direct path to what I need to shift.
Yeah. Let's try this again. Liz Patel of Alaglow. What do you do in your business? What is Alaglow all about?
It is all about helping people achieve amazing results with their skin based on aging, hormonal transitions in teenage, and super sensitive skin.
Okay. Yep, I think we need ChatGPT's help. You're gonna we need precision right now. Precision. Teenagers, you've got a problem, I've got the solution. People over 40, you want to look younger, here it is. Damn it, I keep forgetting the last one that you talk about. People with sensitive skin, there's sensitivity for a reason. I've got the solution. Like, really, don't explain what the solution is. Make them curious enough to go, what's this woman talking about? And okay, maybe she's full of BS, but I'm ready to give her a minute of my time to listen to her. Go. That's it.
Brilliant.
That's it. Yeah. I'm not going to give you the answer on how to fix that, but I will share with you how I can help my clients build a really powerful personal brand so that you are positioned, focused, and really clear about what your solution is with your products, Liz. How you become the ambassador, because if you're not talking about your products, no one will be. So you need to know how to talk about your products better than anyone else on earth. And then eventually, this is how you build more ambassadors in your business. So you got to practice what you preach and be the best role model now. And lastly, make the damn sale. Ask people, I want your money because I'm helping you, damn it.
Yeah.
Liz, any final words for me?
Thank you very much for everything that you've given me today. I know I will run with it and change stuff, change it all,
Awesome.
make it better.
Make it better. You've got so much potential here. Just ignore everyone else who's not on the list that you and I talked about today. They are dead to you, Liz. You are not talking to them anymore. And if they still want to buy your product, that's okay, because that's money in your pocket. But you are not talking to them anymore. It's just going to be those three audiences. And going forward, you are going to say, here's my product. This is how much it costs. It's available right now. Prices could be going up next month. You never know.
Cool. Thank you so much.
How are you feeling, Liz?
Good. Great, actually. Clarity.
Do you feel like you've got as much as I could give to you? I mean, we had such a short amount of time right now to be able to give you this very quick review.
I think I have a lot I think there was a crap ton of information that you gave me that I can execute on, and it will be fun to put those things in place and see things change.
Yeah, well, we'll have
I'm
to
excited.
circle back. Yeah, we'll have to circle back. I want to see everything that you implemented. So, Liz, implement everything as quickly as possible. And then I would love for you to share with the audience, maybe in a month's time, go on Instagram and talk about, hey, this is what I've implemented and this is the result. I would love to see that up there.
Oh, absolutely. For sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Liz. And hopefully you'll hear back from the Fairy BOSSmother again soon. If you enjoyed this episode of the Fairy BOSSmother show and you're a small business owner, apply to be a guest on the show and get your very own live brand review. You can apply by going to my website, www.bossdiplomat.com, or snap the QR code on this video. See you soon.